Welcome to Clarity Currents, the secret podcast with me, Danielle Laura, where I share weekly channeled messages about the energetics of the week and the areas of opportunity, so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it, and know how to leverage it for your highest level good in your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of January 5th through the 11th, 2026. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see a vision of someone standing in an unfinished house. The walls are up, the floors are laid, but tools are still scattered all around. I see sunlight pouring in through the windows, and it's really illuminating what's already been built and what still needs attention. So this is a foundational week. It's not flashy, fast, externally validating energy, but it is deeply important. The kind of week where what you put in place now quietly determines how supported, stable, and sustainable your next chapter will be. Even though the calendar says that it's a new year, energetically, we are still in a transition corridor. You may feel like you're halfway between who you were and who you're becoming, and that is not a problem. It's actually exactly where you're meant to be. There's an invitation this week to move slowly, intentionally, and honestly, to notice where your nervous system wants joy and play, but also where your inner structure needs refinement so that joy can actually last. Ask yourself this week, what am I building beneath the surface that my future self will rely on? Business for the week of January 5th. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a vision of someone carefully organizing a workspace. They're labeling drawers, clearing clutter, and upgrading systems because it makes everything work better. This is a powerful week for behind-the-scenes business work. The energy supports creating new systems, structures, and foundations that are meant to carry you forward long-term. This might look like refining your offers, tightening your messaging, reorganizing your calendar, or even addressing inefficiencies that you've been tolerating out of habit. There's also a message coming through around patience. It feels like things might be slower or maybe less externally rewarding right now, but trust that what you're building is solid. Rushed action would create instability later, so intentional action now is creating ease later. Let practicality lead this week. Clear communication, grounded decisions, and simple next steps are going to move you forward more than big leaps this week. Relationships for the week of January 5th. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I see a set of scales that are gently swaying back and forth, searching for balance. This week highlights the tension between your personal stability and your relational needs. You may feel pulled to nurture relationships while also realizing that certain dynamics require better boundaries, clearer communication, and more honesty in order to feel sustainable. Old emotional triggers or identity wounds may resurface, not to punish you, but really to show you where you've outgrown. And pay attention to what feels draining versus what feels grounding. This is a powerful week for self-reflection and relationships. Where am I compromising myself to keep the peace? Where am I being invited to bring more balance, not more effort? Health for the week of January 5th. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I feel a strong emphasis on mental and emotional well-being. There may be moments midweek especially where emotions release suddenly, like realizing a belief, mindset, or even a way of relating to stress simply does not work anymore. So letting go may feel vulnerable, but it creates immediate spaciousness. Sleep patterns may be vivid or even disrupted at times, and your body may be asking for gentler routines, more hydration, and more rest than usual. This is a week to support your nervous system through structure, consistent sleep, grounding practices, nourishing food, and simplifying where you can. Your body is not asking for perfection, but it is asking for presence and care. Wealth for the week of January 5th. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a long road being paved. It's slow, steady, and intentional. This is not a quick win financial week, but it is a wealth building week. Anything you do now to stabilize your finances, clarify your goals, clean up accounts, or make long-term financial decisions will have compounding effects over time. There's also a reminder coming through to not emotionally react around money this week. If something feels tense or triggering, pause. Respond from grounded clarity rather than fear or urgency. This week favors planning over pushing and alignment over impulse. Spirituality for the week of January 5th. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see a vision of someone receiving guidance in a dream, then waking up and writing it all down before it fades. The intuitive channel is open, but it does require stillness to hear it. Dreams, intuitive nudges, and subtle inner messages may intensify this week, especially around something that has felt paused or unclear. Trust what comes through, even if it doesn't make logical sense yet. This is not the week to spiritually bypass discomfort. It's the week to sit with truth, listen deeply, and allow clarity to emerge organically. Ground your spirituality in daily practices, things like simple rituals, prayer, journaling, or time and reflection. And legacy for the week of January 5th. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, I see a powerful image of someone choosing a path at a crossroads, but they have this deep inner knowing. By the end of the week, there may be a moment that feels catalytic. This urge to release something, to make a decision, or to even take an action that aligns you more fully with who you're actually becoming. This isn't about some dramatic change. It's about irreversible alignment. The question for your legacy this week is, what choice today moves me closer to the life that I meant to build, not just the one I've been maintaining? Trust that instinct. It's guiding you towards your new beginning. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of grounded clarity, conscious foundations, and aligned momentum. Until next week.